Coming up in this week's show, we find out if a used Audi TT is goodbye for a student.
We consider the Mazda CX-3's suitability as a long-stance family car.
And should you keep or sell a fully paid off Chevy Spark?
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week, Michael Pashut from Change Cars and Shane Assad from Velocity X. Hello gentlemen.
Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to have you here. Remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za or pop us a message on Instagram @ignitiontv, and please include as much detail as you can, plus a clear photograph of yourself.
We're going to kick off things with a question from Marvin, whose son is at university and who he wants to buy a car for. His budget is 200,000 Rand and he has the following options in mind: a Kia Picanto X-Line, Citroen C3 and a Mazda 2. On the other hand, his son, of course, has his heart set on an Audi TT, but it's got over 100,000 Ks in the clock. And he doesn't want his son to succumb to the pressures of university by wanting a premium brand vehicle to impress all his friends. Guys, what would you advise, Mike?
Slap his son. First, slap his son hard.
So you'll go a long way to find a big Audi fan. I think it's well known. Audi TT, absolutely magnificent vehicle. Great car, great buy for somebody else. For him, not even a shadow of doubt, Citroen C3, low risk. It's modern. I'm in love with that Citroen. I don't know what it is.
That's just come out.
I'm in love with that car.
It's a really good.
The Kia, magnificent. Funny enough, the Mazda, I would say, my last choice in this category.
Because the Mazda would be lots of mileage on it and it'll be a bit older.
Correct.
Shane, what's your feeling on the Citroen C3, especially that new one that just launched? It's coming out at like 220 or something.
Oh, C3 is brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic engine. It's such a nice interface. It's perfect for exactly what he is, a student. To be honest, if I was the father, I would pretty much have all of my school fees given back to me, because clearly my son hasn't learned anything.
And he's just got to varsity, so it's okay.
Yeah, I would say you can have a TT, but
When
you're
you
out
pay
of
for
varsity then, and
Yeah.
you have to pay for it, and you have to maintain it.
Yeah.
So you either work at McDonald's and you can have your TT, or you have
Yeah.
a future and just go to
You
university.
know, 220, and once again, I know I'm carrying on like a broken record here, Suzuki Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, it's not on the list.
But it's not on the list, and I'm not saying the Citroen C3 is not an awesome car and things like that, or even the Kia Picanto, but I think for 220, bang for my buck,
Oh, definitely.
I'll put him in a Suzuki Swift.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't like it, I'll take the car back and make him walk to damn varsity.
One thing I'd like to, I don't want to sound sexist, but a Kia Picanto, Citroen C3, a
Ladies
little
like
bit
feminine
girly.
cars,
You
yeah.
know, a little bit girly for a guy as well. As much as they're good cars, but I would go
That
for...
is sexist.
Oh, okay, sorry. I would also agree with Siggy and have a look at a Suzuki Swift, and he must probably enjoy it more. Although the Citroen C3 really is a really good car in the segment, because they're 220 odd, brand new out the box.
Yep.
And you're going to get a brand new car. It's got, as Shane says, all the interface, all the electronics, all the gadgetry that I don't understand is great on those cars.
I always think, as a father, as a parent, you've engaged with your child, and it's like, Dad, Mom, this is what I want. The Swift wasn't mentioned by the child for a reason, guaranteed. The TT was mentioned for a reason. The Swift is not a cool car. It's a nice car, but it's a car rental car.
As long as I'm paying the money, he'll get what I'm paying.
There you go.
I pay, I say.
I pay, I say.
I say.
You know the golden rule, right? Whoever's got the gold rules.
That's it. Okay. Siggy.
Our next viewer is Adrian, a 45-year-old who hails from Cape Town. He currently drives a 2003 Volkswagen Jetta 4 and is considering upgrading into a vehicle that fits within his budget of 300,000 Rand. He's looking into buying a 2014 or 2015 Lexus IS350F. Is this a wise choice, especially concerning the reliability of the vehicle, or should he rather look at something else? The car will be used for the daily commute. I'm not into the Lexuses, guys, but I'm out of this. I want your opinion, Mike.
So his concern was, is it a reliable choice? That box you can
It's ticked.
tick.
Yes, it's a
absolutely.
reliable
It's
choice,
Toyota,
yes.
it's Lexus, cheap to maintain, but it's a car that's 10 years old in 3 months' time. Again, got to be the Mazda for me. CX-3, a lot smaller, I do understand that, or the CX-5. For 300,000 Rand, you're going to get a far better car than you're going to get in the Lexus.
No, much smaller than, although people who buy Lexus, or even consider looking at Lexus, obviously aren't buying a car for its styling cues.
course.
Looking at it because it's a good, reliable car. And on this, I would say, go for it, because you're going to get a car that, I don't care, it's 10 years old. In 20 years, you're still going to have that Camry. I mean, that Lexus. Because it's a Camry. That's really what it is. It's a, as the Afrikaners say, as a can you do it. You can't kill that thing.
You've told
Shane,
him
what do you
he's
think?
buying a Camry. That is the ultimate marketing no-no.
No, guys. I have a Camry and it's still running. I don't know where it is running right now, but it's still running.
My only worry is the fact that this car has probably been driven hard. That's my only worry. Besides the age, it's the 350F, and given it's a Lexus, a lot of people do like to, I don't say race them, but it's of course not a GTI, but understanding that it does have a subtle sportiness essence to it. My only worry is, given its age, you don't want something to happen down the line, but as you said, it is undercover, under the skirts of Toyota.
Yeah, it is extremely good, extremely reliable car. My only concerns with these cars is parts availability for these cars are only from Lexus. So if you don't have a Lexus dealer near you, it can be difficult to get bits and pieces for
And
the
brake
car.
pads can be damn expensive.
Everything,
Yes.
it's a premium vehicle, everything can be expensive. There is parts for them, no problem, you'll get them from Lexus, and that's it. And you'll struggle to find other bits and pieces.
But that's a very interesting point that we need to raise for our viewers in general. Often we'll give a different choice of vehicle depending on where you are. You're in Uppington versus Joburg. Not going to recommend a certain brand because they're not represented in Uppington.
Yeah.
Lexus is one of those niche brands. Yes, fundamentally it's a Toyota, but it's probably 12, 15 Lexus dealers across South Africa in total.
Cape Town, so you'll find it in Cape Town.
In Cape Town, no problem.
Yeah, or you go for Mike's advice, which is good advice as well, something like a Mazda CX-3, really good car if you want an SUV. I quite like your idea of Lexus because I just know how good they are. All right, stay tuned because after the break, entry-level SUVs and conventional hatchbacks go head-to-head.
And double cab Bakkies from Isuzu and Mazda go head to head. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Caleb is 31 years old, married and has 2 kids, and they enjoy taking long-distance trips. He has a deposit of 120,000 Rand with a monthly installment of 3,000 Rand, including insurance, and he's keen to get into a small SUV or hatchback. His options include the Honda WR-V, Hyundai Venue, Suzuki Brezza, Toyota Urban Cruiser, and Ford Ecosport, or the Suzuki Baleno and Toyota Starlet. He's come across a 2016 Mazda CX-3 2-litre with 48,500 kilometers on the clock, and he's wondering if this is a good used buy. With the increase in fuel prices, fuel consumption is top priority. He's also open to other fairly new vehicles with less than 30,000 kilometers on the clock. I know where I'm headed. You, Shane?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you asked me first because I know he's going to say Mazda as always. I personally would definitely go Suzuki Baleno. I mean, considering there's a lot of redundancy here. Starlet.
I would go Starlet.
Starlet, you reckon? Even though it's about 40
Even though
grand
it's the
more.
same car, yeah.
Interesting.
You know why? It's the badge. When it comes to sell it,
Yeah, value.
I'll get my 40K back.
100%.
You know, and the public out there needs to know that the Starlet and the Baleno is the same car.
It is the exact same.
Exact same car. But
It's not. It's not. They got different badges.
Okay,
In the front.
you're quite right though in that
Yeah.
the Baleno is the car.
No,
You're
definitely.
quite right. You'd say 40K, and
Yeah,
you got the same thing.
What makes it so tough and is so positive all in one is every single car identified. Again, you could say any one of those you
Yes.
could go by. The CX-3 that he's found, 7 years old, that's a bit of a needle in a haystack that he's found there because that's not the norm
No.
for a 7-year-old car.
Yeah,
with those
48,000 Ks.
In
No.
this particular case, my second choice, because the Mazda is always right up there, the Honda.
The Honda
WR-V.
is a great car, but it's got the
Unbelievable.
wrong engine in it.
Too small.
It's a 1.2 litre, and it's great for in and about town. But if you
Yeah.
drive on the highways on that thing, 120, it's like revving on the rev limiter. It screams too much, and it's a fantastic car with the wrong engine in it. So, and I'm a big Honda fan.
Of course.
And it's the one car that I wouldn't recommend if you're using it. Like if you want to go on trips and stuff like that, it can be tiring. If you bought this car and you were only driving around the city, fantastic. But there's so many other cars like the Suzuki Brezza or the Urban Cruiser. I would rather have that than that. I'd rather have a Baleno than that.
But
I'd
we're
rather
obviously
have
talking about the
Hyundai-
older cruiser now. We're not talking about the new
yeah,
cruiser.
no, the older one. I'd rather have the Hyundai Venue than a WRV. If it had the 1.5 litre engine in it and
Totally
different gear
different.
ratios, it would be a winner of note. And that's why we don't mention it that much on the show. I like that, and I know what you're saying. CX-3, 2 litre, It's a really nice car. It'll last an extremely long time. But so will these other cars. The one I would also throw out would be the Ecosport, the Ford Ecosport.
Throw it out as in you would choose it, or throw it out as in
No,
discard
throw it
it?
away. Because there's so many other cars there which are better.
100%.
Yeah, which are much better than that. I'm with Shane here. It looks like I'm agreeing with him all day long, but I'm with you.
I mean,
And
you get the Starlet automatic. Fuel consumption will get down to 4.7 liters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's nice about the Starlet is it's got usable space. It's spacious in the back seats, it's spacious in the boot area and in the front area, and it's a nice car to drive.
Now, why I asked you about the Urban Cruiser, I'm very open when I say I think the old Urban Cruiser is an unappealing looking car. The Starlet is magnificent looking. It's super
You mean the
appealing.
Baleno?
Or Baleno, or whatever it is. So, I mean, obviously there we've made your choices for you.
Toyota Baleno is what he goes for.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we
Yes.
go. We're totally confused now. Right, we're going to move on. Sean is 29 years old and recently inherited a 2004 Honda Civic 170i with 450,000 Ks on the clock.
New.
That's a new one.
New one, yeah.
But he says it still drives well. He also has a Mahindra pickup that he uses for work in construction. He would like to buy a family-orientated Bakkie and he's considering getting rid of the Honda Civic and getting a double cab. He has a deposit of 90,000 Rand. He's willing to pay up to 6,000 Rand a month, including insurance. He has his eyes set on the following: an Isuzu D-Max, the Mazda BT50, and he's also open to other suggestions. Also, his girlfriend recently bought a Subaru XV, and she wants to know how reliable it is. Oh, that's a sneaky one. He just throw in a couple of questions.
Throw like 4 questions in
Let's
there.
go with the Bakkie first. Double cab, Isuzu or BT50, same car.
Correct. Either, but let's look at his budget. 260 is what he'll afford on finance,
Yeah.
90,000 deposit, so he's paying 350. That's his budget.
Yeah.
With 350, where's he going to get the best bang for buck? He hasn't mentioned a Hilux.
Yeah.
Don't even consider a Hilux.
Yeah.
Don't even mention a Ranger. The BT50, one of your favorites, a Mitsubishi Triton,
Triton, yes.
will not go wrong.
Or you
will
could
not go
go
wrong.
for the Fiat fullback,
Ooh, the professional, yeah.
Yeah, which is if you
which
can
is the
find it.
Mitsubishi Triton.
Yeah.
You could, but because of the Fiat badge, he'll get a better deal on it.
It just does not sound right to me. A Fiat Bakkie.
Yeah.
Mercedes Bakkie didn't sit with me. A Fiat Bakkie
Yeah.
will never sit with me.
Shane, your thoughts?
To be honest, I'm 100% sure it's definitely the Mazda BT50, yeah.
Yeah. Just a nicer vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also look at something like the GWM P Series Bakkie.
Very
So
good.
350, you're going to find something most probably, obviously, all this will be second-hand.
Second
course.
hand,
You can get a double cab P350, and you can find them in this sort of price range with most probably under warranty 50, 60,000 Ks on it. And that's also,
Now
And it-
that's a family-orientated Bakkie.
'Cause it's
you
big.
could put everybody and the kit in there.
What I like about the P series that you just mentioned, have they sold well over the last 2 years?
yeah.
Yes.
Magnificently. Is there a lot of them on the market? Positively so.
Yeah.
Not for the wrong reason. So you've got choices.
Yeah.
You're going to say, I want this color, I want that color. Very, very good choices.
Something to throw in there. We've, again, given quite a lot of choices there. And in the Bakkie market, we know there's a plethora of them. Yeah.
Hey, you finally got to use that word. Hey?
Can't spell it? I can say it. One thing I just want to say, Subaru XV,
yes.
is it a good car?
Yes,
Just want to quickly put in there. Yeah, it's not a bad
it's
car.
not a bad car.
It's a good
yeah.
car.
We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we help a viewer choose a suitable replacement for his long-serving Audi A3.
And we find out if 20-inch wheels is a safe option for long-distance driving. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Our next viewer is 28-year-old Eugene, who is the owner of a 2005 Audi A3 2-litre FSI with 168,000 Ks on the clock. The car drives well, although it's heavy on fuel. He also has a fully paid-off Chevrolet Spark with 130,000 Ks on the clock. He wants to replace one of his cars with a newer one, but he can't decide which one to let go of. The first option is to sell the Audi A3 and get into a 2018 or 2019 A3 1.4 TFSI S-Line with under 80,000 Ks. He's also considering Golf 7 GTI, but fears that it is a risky car. The second option is to sell his fully paid off Chevy Spark and buy a new small car. He's also open to other suggestions. Now, on his Chevy Spark, Mike, if he sold it, he could buy a new small car, like a Matchbox or Dinky Toys.
Espresso or
Yeah.
You can buy the Matchbox.
a real dinky
A
toy.
real little dinky toy,
So
yeah.
for me, it's super easy. The Spark, is it going to give him problems? Unlikely. If it does give him problems, cheap to maintain,
No,
cheap to fix.
Get rid of it.
The Audi is the one that's got to go, and replace it with the Audi. Love the GTI, who doesn't? His concerns, I believe, are well-founded.
Yeah.
Anytime you think about it and you're concerned about it, don't do it. The Audi, touch wood, amazing car, definitely not a risk. Without a doubt, sell the Audi, replace it with an Audi.
He's obviously a...
You've got nothing to add. We've already answered this one.
Yeah.
Shane?
I was going to say, instead of getting the GTI, get a Polo TSI or Golf TSI. A little bit slightly lower. I'd say lower risk in terms of it's not the fact that it's not a GTI, but it's worried about fuel consumption. That might solve the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Get
can't
rid of
ask
the
for a
spark.
GTI and worry about fuel consumption, eh?
Just GTIs are expensive to maintain. I quite like your idea there, Shane, of getting something like a one, instead of the A3, you buy like a Golf 1.4 TSI.
Yeah.
And it must probably be cheaper than the Audi A3. It'll be cheaper than the Golf 7. And you're getting a really good car. And from his A3, you'll move up. It will be nicer. That A3 was when Audi made proper cars. After that generation of Audi, they changed the engines, they changed all the gearboxes. They just are not as reliable.
Do I have to take this abuse?
You do.
Yes, you can. Because
That's the Audi
the newer Audis,
Oh.
first thing you ask, is this engine been done?
Yeah.
If no, you leave it alone.
They are
Because
problematic.
they use so much oil.
And if you think I'm talking nonsense, just Google it and you'll see. I
But
mean,
talk about a Polo 1.4. If you take 15 years ago, what we considered a hot hatch, the performance of a Polo 1.4,
It's a hot
it's, not-
hatch now.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Have you driven one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth,
Yeah.
powerful, torquey, tractable,
He's driven one. He's
unbelievable
named
car.
his company after the Velocity X.
Fair point.
it's a great option. In terms of the Chevy Spark, if it's that newer shape Chevy Spark, I would get rid of it for a number of reasons. One is parts on those cars are becoming more and more and more
Yes.
difficult to get hold of.
And expensive.
And if you want a part and you have to go to General Motors, you're going to have to sell your new Golf GTI you bought just to buy parts for it.
Oh,
Horrendously
kidney. I
expensive.
think they're taking kidneys.
The kidneys.
Oh,
Yeah, they're taking kidneys.
Kidney and a liver.
So Mark went from considering selling one car.
Sell both.
Are you selling
Sell
both?
both.
So both.
Sell both. Get rid of it because you'll find a buyer for the Chevy Spark while it's going. And if you want to buy something else, you actually joked and said espresso. But if you want to buy like a cheap entry-level car,
There's a
Suzuki Espresso,
Yes.
although it's fugly and not the prettiest car, it's a good, reliable. It's the city Golf of
Oh.
today. It's the Toyota Tazz of today. It's entry level. It does what students want.
Yes.
It gives you a little bit of bits and pieces on. Gets you from A to B, and it'll get you there and back.
And
won't
it's
give you
your
problems.
Suzuki.
And it's Suzuki.
Yes, Suzuki, yeah.
And Suzuki, as we know, are the flavor of the month. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise we'll say we're being
And,
sexist.
and if you recommended it for your girlfriend, unbelievable car.
Yes, great. Yeah.
Our last question comes from Mark, who hails from the mother city and is the owner of a 2009 W204 Mercedes-Benz C300 AMG that's fitted with a set of aftermarket 20-inch rims. I wonder how he gets that gearbox to change. His issue is as follows. He has been earmarked for deployment to Lokhatla for a month and a half. And he's wondering if it would be wise to drive his car, or does it stand the chance of being damaged due to the distance and considering the size of the wheels. Previously, he used his wife's C200 with 17-inch wheels on his car and would swap them back on his return. But his wife's car has since been sold. So that option isn't available anymore. Okay, guys, my take on this is he's scared of damaging his 20-inch rims. And the road to Lokhatla is in terrible condition, I'm assuming. And that's what I'm assuming from what he wants, what his concern is about.
So the-
Otherwise, you can drive.
So the Northern Cape borders on the Western Cape. The Western Cape's roads are the best in the country, as good as anywhere in the world. The Northern Cape doesn't get a lot of traffic. Have you ever noticed? There is no traffic in the
Yeah.
Northern Cape. So you've got to assume their roads will be good. Just based on the size of the wheels, that's not a problem. He knows the area. If there's a challenge with the roads, any wheels are going to be a problem, 20-inch more so. But if the roads are in good condition, just by virtue of the fact that they're 20 inches, he's not going to have a problem on that,
No,
is
he's
he?
not going to have a problem. It's just that the fact that if you do with 20-inch rims on it, it's obviously got paint-on tires. Those little paint-on tires.
Yeah.
The ride's going to be terrible on dirt roads.
No, when you're driving, if you hit any sort of pothole, you could damage the rim of the tire. I need to ask: do you have a spare wheel in the car? Is it the right spare wheel for the car, or take another spare wheel? It is a problem. What do you do now? Go to a scrapyard and buy 4 17-inch rims for the trip that you want to do every now and then. That's going to cost you 10,000-12,000 rand. So you might as well take a chance with your 20-inch tires. The problem is though, out there you get a puncture on a 20-inch tire, They've only got tyres for Hiluxes, man.
And
There's
tractors.
no
And tractors.
and tractors. They don't have 20-inch tyres in that, so that
But
can
you
be
know,
a
you
big
can put a
problem.
20-inch tractor tire on there.
Yeah.
Shane's got a good suggestion. I know what it's going to be.
What's it, Shane?
Suzuki Franks or Mazda CX-3. What do you think of those two options?
Yeah, Franks. No. Look, personally speaking, I do think he's worried in the sense of preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
100% what you're saying. If he gets a puncture, we don't know what time of day he's driving,
Yeah.
if he's driving at night or during the day. If something does happen, a tire bursts, the rim shatters,
trouble.
he's stuck.
Yeah.
100% stuck. And also, I mean, given besides, I can't imagine how comfortable that must be to drive that kind of distance with those
That's a fair
tiny,
point.
tiny
Hard
sidewalls.
rims, yeah. So it's take a risk, or you buy yourself like 10 cans of puncture repair, those aerosol ones in case you get a puncture. You know, make sure you got a spare wheel, or even take another spare wheel with you. Have 2 spare wheels.
You know
just
what?
in case,
You
but
made
it's
an
a
excellent
problem.
suggestion, although it was joking,
Yeah,
on him just going to the scrapyard and buying 4 rims.
yeah.
And he could buy the metal rims. He doesn't have to buy fancy.
Cheapest ones you can find.
Yes,
With
cheapest ones you can find that will work on your W204.
black tires with
Black,
grooves
yeah.
in. That's it.
And put them on and drive to Lugata.
Yeah, that's the way to go, I think. All right.
Yeah, and it would be
unfortunately.
probably be cheaper than repairing one of his 20-inch rims.
But just tip of the week quickly. You spoke about that tire fix. Have you ever used that product? It is magnificent.
Yeah.
If you do not have tire fix in your car or any of those products,
Yeah.
if you get stuck anywhere, your tire hasn't blown out. If your tire's blown out, obviously.
Pump it up here on the side of the road.
It's unbelievable. Tip
Just-
of the week,
just-
amazing safety feature.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Anytime,
especially if
guys.
your side wall on your tire is torn about that.
Okay, okay,
Definitely,
enough. We've run out of time. We've come to the end of another episode. Shane, Michael, it's been a great pleasure having you here again.
Until next time, remember to keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the roads.